Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima. Over the course of 2026, I'm playing the game Persona 3 Reload. Only I'm trying something a little different. I'm going to match the pace of the game. That's right, I'm playing this game one real day at a time. Please enjoy this different take on the game in a series I'm calling Persona a Day. Hello and welcome. Thank you all so much for being here again today. It means a lot to me. I am Tom Shima. Come on in, let's have some fun today. Always nice to see some returning faces. Welcome back. For all the new faces, thank you for joining me today. And in all cases, I just appreciate having all of you here. So get comfy, grab something to eat, get a drink. Let's make it another fun day today. We're going to be continuing our playthrough of Persona 3 Reload in the series I've been calling Persona a Day, where I've been playing the game one real day at a time. It's been really cool to see the game evolve and change at this more measured pace as opposed to a traditional playthrough. And I've come to appreciate new things from it, and hopefully you're seeing some new fun things as you've been watching as well. So, like I like to do, I start with a recap of what we did yesterday to kind of catch us all up to where we left off. We'll transition into playing today's portion of the game. We'll then, get to the end of that, look back on what we did today, and get us ready for tomorrow. And then anybody that wants to hang around after the fact, we'll see what we have time for and where things take us. So, with all that little setup out of the way, let's get into talking about what we did yesterday. Yesterday, of course, was Friday, April 24th, so we finished out our weekday set of things. Started the day in school. We're still students. We're still going to school. And the school portion of the day was pretty quick. We got there, we went through our day, and just like that, it was after school. Yeah, and I decided it was kind of going to be fun to look around a little bit more. We hadn't checked out some of the various landmarks and areas around, so I wanted to prioritize just stopping by the Port Island Station and the Naganaki Shrine. It was just kind of cool to go to those different places and see the different businesses, the people talking and existing around there, and just to kind of get a look at things. We weren't really there for any specific purpose other than to kind of just build the world around us and know where we're still living. We saw a movie theater. We didn't go in, but, there's a movie theater. There was a gardening supply store. Just the nice architecture and open spaces to kind of enjoy for people. We kind of got off the beaten path and found, more of a back alley, which kind of, just makes that world feel that much more like a world. It's not all just a nice, happy veneer, but there are things behind the scenes that are what you would find in the real world. We kind of, talked in chat about how interesting it would be to find some of the inspiration places for some of these places and see them in real life and how cool that would be. So, we wanted to take a bit of a tour of the town before we dug right into everything else, but we did work our way back to the school after that because back on Thursday, we'd officially joined the track team. And based on that, it seemed like the logical choice to attend the very first practice since we joined. Seemed a little irresponsible if we joined one day and then skip the very next. So we doubled back to school. We, again, kind of took our time. We didn't, sprint right to the track team. We walked our way over there, talked to a couple students, and took our time. Stopped at that corridor again and just kind of liked to experience that green space a little bit. But that did lead us out to the practice field. We practiced with the team. We met the team captain a little bit more. It was a strong practice. It sounds like we pushed him, to his limits, which is what he was hoping for. He wants to get stronger. It's nice to hear that we're a capable member of the team right from day one. And it also kind of sounds like he plans to really lean into seeing us as a rival, which I'm hoping is going to motivate both of us. He wants to get better and keep me on my toes, and if I've got somebody pushing me, that's going to be that motivating drive for me to keep getting better as well. I was a little concerned at the end of practice when his leg was bothering him, but he believes he's got it under control, and it's that thing in the back of my head that I'm thinking about, but I also have to trust someone to know their own limits, so I want to be there as a friend and as a teammate, but I don't want to get in the way and get in the way. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. After practice, we were getting ready to head back to the dorm. We were at our locker, and we saw Yuko, the team manager, who you might remember we tried to ask if she wanted to walk home together on Thursday, and she had other plans. But we had our shot again. This was our redemption chance. They gave us the option of, do we want to try to walk home or ask to walk home together? And despite day one's rejection, we tried again, and she said she had some time today. Yes, we got our redemption. We did it. So we got to go to get some coffee with Yuko and chat with her a bit, which was nice because she opened up to us a little bit more about her role as the team manager. And the things she likes about it, and she seems to be looking out for everybody on the team, but she also, got to be real with us and talk about some of the things that were a challenge, managing a group of guys and seeing that as, I think she kind of likened it to keeping track of a bunch of kids, which I'm not going to say is necessarily wrong. But it was nice and encouraging that she trusted us with these worries and that she felt comfortable around us enough to share that with us. And actually, to that point then, as we were finishing up our coffee and getting to know each other, that actually unlocked the Strength Arcana, the very first level of another Arcana for us. So we developed a brand new social link in that as well. So we've got just one more bit of power and one more person we're connected to in the real world. It was a very productive afternoon in that regard. 2 bits of social link progress, getting to know some more people on the team and around the school. And then in keeping with that exploration vibe from the afternoon, I decided, to take a bit of a stroll around in the evening as well. We stopped by the various businesses and things just to see what was offered where, the different food options, the different places we could spend time and money and the activities we could do. And there's a lot of them out there. And in so doing, we also kind of found that there are some things we can't quite do yet. At one point, we found a club that seemed interesting, but we need to be a bit more courageous to enter. We're still ranked as timid in our courage, so that actually kind of helped make a plan for yesterday. I wasn't sure what we really wanted to do as we were seeing what was out there. It turns out the arcade had a game that was that boosted our courage. So I thought it was a Friday evening. I thought it'd be kind of fun to spend some time at the arcade. And we know we need to work on our courage, so it was kind of 2 birds with 1 stone by enjoying a game there. We'd been in Tartarus the past 3 nights. We'd been fighting the shadows and getting stronger, which has been huge and great progress. But it was nice to just kind of take that bit of a break too, and not be risking our life and fighting the unknown, and just kind of be a normal high school student for a day. And we'd also made it to a nice breaking point in our climb through Tartarus, so we weren't especially pressed to have to go back yesterday. And that's going to hold true for a little while now, since the last time we were in the tower, we got to a floor that we couldn't advance beyond just yet. So yeah, we spent our evening at the arcade playing some games, getting a little bit more courageous. And then with that, we were able to head back to the dorm. No Tartarus that night, since that was how we spent our time, so we got a nice full night of sleep to end our weekday. And I guess, with that takes us through what we did yesterday. Got us thinking about some things we could do for today, and I'm kind of excited to see where things take us. Rather than thinking about that, I think let's move on to the game and see what we can actually do. I'll get us moved over. Okay. So this is where I loaded us in. We had just finished spending our time at the arcade, and we gained a little bit of courage. This was the end of yesterday. And with that, we'll head back to the dorm, and moving on to today. So it is now, just like in the real world, Saturday the 25th. And this school structure has those, Saturday school days as well. So despite it being Saturday, we're starting off at school, keeping our academic focus strong. I can hear people talking.
By the way...
Oh, hey, the bookstore at the strip mall? Isn't there grand reopening today? Kind of a fun thing to mention. We stopped by there yesterday. We saw it was in the evening, so the place was already closed, but it'll be interesting to see, that nice coincidence of poking around the world and just kind of, putting it all together and seeing things before they're necessarily the front and center of things, but just knowing they're there once they do become important to us. It's always kind of interesting on these, earlier days in the game too, to just have these bit of signposting of, hey, there's a bookstore, maybe you should consider it. So let's keep that in mind. Maybe we should consider it. But I also don't want to commit to anything until we've got our options ahead of us, because I like having a plan, but I also kind of just want to take this playthrough as it comes. Huh? A bookstore?
Yep.
Yeah, leave Iwatodai Station, go straight for a while, and it's after you cross the crosswalk. It's almost the new semester, so let's check out more shops in the city. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, we kind of did some of that yesterday. Maybe we'll have to keep going with that today, too. Apparently the bookstore at the strip mall is having a grand reopening today. I wonder what kind of books they sell. The first bell has rung. I always kind of like the idea of bookstores. I don't get into them as often as I did, or maybe probably should, but it was always just kind of fun to see, what books are out there for current books, but I also liked those older books, I guess kind of like a library, but I like the concept. I mean, books like games can be timeless. Just because it's not new or current doesn't diminish its value in the story or the information it tries to convey. I've always just kind of liked that concept. So I like bookstores. Maybe we'll keep it in mind for this afternoon. But the first bell is rung, so we have obligations first. Oh. And it was another quick school day. So class has ended for the day. Yes, our daily eavesdropping. That's that's part of our main MO right now. But you can gain a lot from just, keeping your ears open and knowing what's going on around you, right? And you can do it in a way that's reasonable and not weird. Another new day, another new save. Some people to talk to, so like I like to do, it's just kind of fun to keep tabs on what our classmates and people around us are doing. Makes that world feel that much more vibrant. Hey, new guy. What do you think of the girls here compared to your old school? I have an idea what he's talking about. Personally, I can't really say what, my old school was like, but I've seen nothing wrong with anybody here in the school. They're all cute. I know, right? Our school has tons of hot chicks. It's an interesting thing to take some pride in. Not wrong to be proud of it, but it's kind of different. Here's Kazushi Miyamoto over here. He's our track team captain. Ah, that felt great. It takes guts to sleep during class. If you get caught, you might get a piece of chalk to the forehead. But you got the courage to doze off. Anyway, I guess you've got nothing to fear at that point. So yeah, I guess from a courageous standpoint, we do have another option to consider there. We've had a couple chances to do that before, and like I've said every time, it's never been something that's even crossed my mind as something to do, so we'll see if I'm feeling courageous at some point, but I'm in class to learn, so that's kind of how I want to prioritize it. See what indifferent student is up to. When you go to a new school, you have to worry about where you'll sit, too. It would suck if you ended up in the front row. What did all of you think in school? Where did you prefer to sit in class? Did you like the front row? Did you hate the front row? Did it really matter where you sat? I never really minded being in the front row necessarily. I hated being called on, but at the back, never been at the front. I mean, yeah, there is something about feeling like you're on display when you're in the front. I never minded it, but to each their own in that regard. And it depends on the class, too. I mean, if the teacher's one of those that likes to call on people, I did kind of like that feeling of anonymity, of, blending in somewhere off to the side or in the back. But for some moment, it was just as easy to be up front and not have to look around other people or, all those little distractions that could come from that. Ah, there's Yuko. I guess as we're wandering around here like I do like to do, we've got some mail, we've got some options to check, so let's see first what our mail looks like. I'm checking Yuko's message right in front of her. Sorry for messaging you even though there's no track practice. I actually wanted to ask you a favor. Could you come see me if you're free? I'll probably be in the hallway on the second floor. She surely is. That's something to keep in mind. Ah, and we stopped by the pharmacy yesterday where he did mention there's a sale, so it's kind of cool to get that confirmation ad here. Today's our weekly sale. Are you running low on medicine or other goods? Come visit and stock up. And I just love those little things that make the week unique. I mean, it's the weekend, so different stuff is going on. It's just kind of cool to have that real world lived in vibe that I'm going to keep circling back to. So yeah, those were our messages. I always kind of like to see just what other players, how they chose to spend their time. Most people focused on social links, spending time with an old couple or with Yuko. A handful of people, went with the other daily life activities. With the importance of social links, I do tend to like to prioritize those, but it's nice to just have, the other options. I mean, being able to go study in the library if you wanted to work on your academics. I like having that choice. So I'm going to talk to a few more people as we keep thinking about how we want to spend things, or how we want to spend our time. This is that stylish student we talked to a couple days ago. School uniforms are so boring. I wish they'd allow us to wear our own clothes. Yeah, like that'll happen. I never had a school uniform in any of my classes growing up, so I can't really relate. I never minded the idea, but like I say, I never actually had to experience it either, so maybe it's different actually having to deal with it. Zigzag our way through the halls here. Doesn't look like a whole lot of new stuff going on, which you kind of like from day to day as well. Well, I mean, there were a couple people doing different social link activities, so we've definitely got Yuko to keep in mind here. There was mention of a bookstore, so part of me kind of just wants to head into town again, kind of like we did yesterday, and see the Saturday vibe of, the afternoon and on a Saturday. It's that cool feeling. I don't know how you all thought about that, but it was just one of those, end of the school week. It's like the start of the weekend. The world is at your fingertips, and you could do anything you want, it feels like. And time's never long enough at that point, but it's just like this is the longest point between now and going back to school, and you just want to enjoy it, and make the most of it, or I guess at least enjoy it, whether or not you make the most of it. How about Port Island Station? It was nice to see that yesterday. Yeah, that cool cafe over here. Here's a bit of a better look at it too. I kind of looked at it from behind, but a nice open space. Got some people hanging out there. Looks nice and cozy. Somebody we haven't talked to yet. That's our pal Kenji from class. Oh, hey, Shima. If I'm going to buy a gift for a girl, I should probably get her a bouquet of flowers, right? I bet if I bought something like that, we'd get a lot closer. Yep, he does seem to be the romantic. He'd also mentioned some sort of plan he's got, so I wonder if he's shopping for something like that. See what's showing a screenshot today. I don't necessarily think we're going to go, but options are fun. Unsolved Mysteries is now showing. High school students pay 1,500 yen. Helps our academics. Kind of a nice generic movie title, but a good mystery can be a fun watch. Not a whole lot going on up here again today. Just people being people. How many of you that have played this game or not, when you see NPCs like this in game, you try to avoid them? I mean, I could just, charge right through them, but there's that part of me that just feels weird about doing that. I don't know, maybe that's just a me thing, but if I see an NPC standing along the stairs or walking at me, I tend to, make it a conscious choice to get out of the way, just like I would if I was in real life. And here's this back alley again. It's, again, that night and day difference between, the station we were just at and then the real world behind the scenes sort of things, where people, made it their own. Yeah, it feels weird to just pass through these people, right? Still feel bad for the weak cat here. That Mew. Nice to check on it, though, and see it's still doing, it's still weak, but it's still doing good. And I guess for all I know, it's hanging out with this group like it does. Maybe they all hang together. I'm gonna hope for that for now. That's its social link. It's got the delinquents to keep it company. Or maybe it keeps the delinquents in line. Got the nice fountain over here. I always liked fountains. I don't know why. It was just, those cool attractions. Especially as a kid, take a penny and get to throw it in the fountain. You get to make that wish. That superstitious side of things maybe, but just that fun. I remember going to malls as a kid, and a couple malls had, these, fountains in the main concourse, and it was just so cool to get to see, all the pennies and nickels glimmering at the bottom that other people have thrown in, and just to get to sit there and be next to the water. Just stuff you didn't get to normally see was always kind of cool like that. This city does really like fountains, yes. I don't know if I've talked about it before, but you can kind of see the card icon on a couple of these locations. At the Iwatodai Station Mall and the Gekkoukan here. That kind of shows us where we've got some social link options, so we'll keep those in mind as we check out a couple other places along our roundabout journey back to wherever we end up. Nothing specifically calling for us at the mall at Polonia here, but some people to talk to and or eavesdrop with. The housewives. Oh my, how did I forget to buy shampoo? Aohige Pharmacy has sales on Saturday, right? Today's Saturday. We should stop by there later. I'm actually glad we listened to them, because despite having that email reminder and you guys in chat reminding me, I did kind of want to stop by there and just see if we need to stock up on anything. So while we're here, I think that makes a good use of our time. We got that same cheerful old man from the other day. You know the coffee shop, right? That fancy-looking one? Chagall? There's that club next to it. Kind of a mature hangout spot, I suppose. I can't say I approve of places like that, but I suppose I can't tell you what to do. Yes, I believe, he's talking about Club Escapade here, that one we're not quite courageous enough to enter yet. One of these days, if we put our mind to it, maybe we will be. But the pharmacy, let's take a look. Looks a bit more crowded. Maybe I'm misremembering from yesterday, but I like to think that with this sale, that actually has drawn in more customers. Help motivate our decision to stop by briefly. We may be a small shop, but we compete with our goods. You'll find things here no one else has. We also have a steady trickle of new inventory, so pop in from time to time and see what's new. And remember, Saturdays are regular sale days. Come out this weekend and support my store. I like it. There's that very direct ask of, hey, we're having a sale. Come support me. I mean, it's to our benefit to get stuff at a discount as well, but I like that honesty of doing this supports my store. He takes pride in his store and he wants it supported. He's not going to be coy about that. He's going to tell it like it is. I appreciate that. Kind of nice here to get this general reminder too of the different inventory sale dates. For those that haven't remembered or weren't around for it, the sale at the police station might sound like kind of an odd one, but Officer Kurosawa, who works there, has access to certain supplies and things that help us, stay equipped for our runs in Tartarus. And he still charges us for it because I think, as he said, all things cost money or all things have a cost. So, he will still charge us, but nice to know that if we need equipment, might best prioritize going there on Mondays. We've got Saturdays here for the pharmacy.
We're having one big sale today. You can't find prices lower than here.
Nice one big sale today. But as limited as all of our resources are, the more we can save, the better. Just like in real life. I don't know necessarily that we are in dire need of anything right now.
I know you kids get embarrassed buying meds for athlete's foot or hemorrhoids, but it'll get worse if left alone.
That's fair advice too.
Buy whatever you need.
You got to stay on top of medical issues, and embarrassment's probably less of a concern than a problem getting worse. We got distracted by the super cat food here. Everything else seems to be medicine related, and then we've got super cat food. Hoity-toity cat food for fine felines. There's almost a tongue twister. We've got 16,000 yen, which makes me feel almost as rich. Get it for the weak cat. We did kind of seem like we were making that a mascot. You're right.
How many?
It's on sale. It's a weak cat. The cat deserves it, right?
Thanks for coming.
I like that idea.
You got everything you need? Thanks.
Seems kind of weird to go to the pharmacy and just walk out with cat food, but I think it's for a good cause. While we're here, let's pop in on our Velvet Room friends, Igor and Elizabeth. Not a whole lot to do with them here, but I like checking in on the neighbors. They've been good to me, so I want to stop in and just
Welcome to the Velvet
just
Room.
say hi. We're not here for a reason. We've already updated the registry, the compendium, all that good stuff, but just nice to see Igor and Elizabeth. No, they're still there watching out for us, still in our corner. So, not much of a visit, but hello Elizabeth, hello Igor. Thank you for being who you are. I'll see you later.
We look forward to your next visit.
It's another little kind of bit of this playthrough. I'm not doing things that are necessarily necessary or important to the game, but I kind of just want to make it feel like we're doing more than just a game. We are part of a world here. And if I had these strange new people looking out for me, I kind of want to stop in and just check with them and say hi. They're helping me. I should be social with them. But our newly self-appointed plan is to head back to the Port Island station here and see what we can do with this weak cat. I like that idea, picking up that cat food, having just stopped in and visited our weak cat friend. Back to the station outskirts we go. Nothing doing yet. It's an interesting point. I like that connection idea. It's kind of nice to have it on hand too. We did buy it, right? Super cat food, yes, okay. Didn't seem to give us an option to do anything with it right now, but hopefully somewhere down the line, we can do something to help weak cat, and the idea of cat food seems to be a very logical choice for that, so a good idea. part of me was thinking if we're buying food for a cat, we're going to want more than one serving, but since it doesn't seem to want it right away, maybe we'll save some more of our money and just buy it as we need it now. These few times I'm in the Port Island station, if I forget to check on the cat, feel free to give me a holler on that one, because that cat's going to be our buddy, I hope. Let's check out the shrine. We saw that for the first time yesterday. Still looks about status quo, but a nice serene space. Still that nice orange, twilight sky, the big tree on the side. The cool old nostalgic playground over here. And I just like to think, we're taking a stroll after school as well. I always like just, getting out and taking a daily walk here. A couple walks here and there every day. And seeing the local sights, even if they don't change very much. Just, getting some steps in and getting out of doors. The strip mall. Yes, they'd mentioned the bookstore this morning. We learned about that. That's something to consider. I just like the multi-tiered layers to this and all the different shops, the advertisements that make it feel real. I mean, you've got the different posters in the windows and things. It's not just, a marquee above a door. It's like you'd expect to see a real mall would look. And I like that. Oh, we've got a cat-loving boy here. I played with my friend's cat at his house again. I want a cat too. I know my mom hates animals, but maybe I should ask her. Yeah, you're never out anything to ask. It's worse to want something and never take that step than it is to try. I mean, like they always say, the worst they can say is no, right? I guess some people say is not necessarily true, but at least you would know at that point. If there's a chance she'll say yes. We've got Octopia over here. Hey, come over here, young man. My takoyaki is both delicious and cheap. Only 400 yen.
It's real tasty.
There's no octopus in it, but try some anyway. Weird takoyaki. Not octopus. Low chance of a side effect. I'm glad to know it's there. Yes, honest, yes, that's oddly appreciated. And you know what? She was honest with us. We don't necessarily need it right now, but I want to support a local business. We'll take one.
Drop by again, yeah?
Kind of part of that fun, too, of getting out of school for the week and, picking up something good to eat on the way home. Just makes that weekend vibe feel more real. Seeing just people around going about their days. Nobody to really interact with, but they've got no reason to interact with me either, so we're just, seeing who's where and doing what. Stuff it's like, this group here, they're up to something, having fun, and it doesn't really involve me, but it's just kind of cool to see. I could see myself with a group doing that, at some point in my high school time, just chilling somewhere. Well, let's see. We do have the bookstore. Who do we have here? That's Lazy Student. Might be a different Lazy Student, but everyone's making friends these days. I don't know. It seems like a lot of work. But I know there's an upside to having friends, but I wish there was a way to do it without all that bonding stuff, I guess that kind of fits that Lazy Student mentality of, I want the result, but I don't want the process, I want to get to step 5, but steps 2, 3, and 4 just don't sound all that fun, so can't I just skip from 1 to 5? Why not? But that's also that core concept of this playthrough. It's like we're making those social links, and we're going through these journeys, and we're taking the time, so it's almost just kind of fun to have Lazy Student here offering that counterpoint of, why do we have to do it this way? Can't we do it the easy way? We won't fall for that temptation, but it's there to go in our heads now. Is there anywhere else we want to stop? I don't really want to go back to the dorm, but maybe we can stop at the dorm without going inside. I always like the architecture of the, all the areas here, but just the way our dorm building stands out around the places around it. It looks cozy, especially these big doors. I've always been a sucker for nice big doors. It's a weird thing that just makes a place look more inviting. I guess, it is if it's got a big entryway, but yeah, I mean, not a lot to see. Oh, we've got a cat here maybe, actually. Can we do anything? Nope. Nice to see the various animals around, though. Hope they're all doing well. Now we have to make a choice, as the game does. Let's let's contemplate somewhere quiet at the shrine here. And to do that refresher of what other people chose to do. I mean, it was prioritizing the social links. They had decided to spend time with Yuko, the team manager, and they spent time with an old couple. There's a part of me that leans towards the bookstore, since that was kind of not so subtly mentioned at the start of the day. The fact that we spent some time with Yuko yesterday and got to know her was also nice. Let's see, Yuko was the Strength Arcana, I believe? Yes. Do we have any Strength persona with us? We do, actually. We've got Valkyrie. So if we chose to spend time with Yuko, there would be that slight bonus for having the correct corresponding persona. But there's also this bookstore to consider, so... Yeah, as much as it mentioned the bookstore, I do think I'm going to lean towards that direction for the day. Nothing against Yuko. I mean, that's the challenge of choices. I'd love to make both choices if I could, but that's not how this works. It also sounds like today's a special day at the bookstore if it's a grand reopening. I mean, you only really get one of those. Tomorrow is the day after the grand reopening, so we'd have missed it if we don't go today, right? So I think the bookstore Bookworms is where I'm going to spend our after-school time today. The used bookstore Bookworms. Should I enter the store? Yes, let's go.
Welcome.
Not to judge a book by its cover, but this sure looks like an elderly couple that, might be where some people spent their time after school.
What would you like to order? Our special today is fresh mackerel.
Huh.
As you might suspect, we don't serve sushi here.
I had kind of maybe put that two and two together.
Oh, you're a student, aren't you? Then you must be from Gekko-kan High, right?
That is right, yes.
That means you probably know about the persimmon tree there, don't you?
My first thought was actually just, persimmon tree. There might be a cook guide, that's true. Again, I don't want to... It's wrong to make assumptions, isn't it? Maybe I need to be the one that, stops and listens more. These could be the best, the best at what they do around. I mean, books could be a front for the best restaurant I've ever found. I guess, yeah, you don't want to jump to conclusions. Yeah, persimmon tree?
Do you think I'm making this up? I assure you, it's real.
I wouldn't think he's making it up. Although, since he talked about, selling food before, yeah.
At Gekko-kan High, there's an open courtyard area. The tree grows beside a walkway.
That's true, yes. We did pass that a couple times in that nice, green space between, in that corridor between the academic buildings and the practice field. There was a young tree there that a couple students were congregating around. So yes, it seems there's a persimmon tree somewhere at Gekko-kan High. Does this elderly couple have some kind of connection to it?
Please excuse my husband. Just consider it the ramblings of an old man.
I feel like that's kind of a sad thought. I hope to be an old man someday, and it wouldn't really feel all that good if someone just oh, that's just the ramblings of an old man. Don't pay any attention to it. What does he know? I mean, some old people just want to talk. I've worked years of retail, so I kind of can relate to having somebody that just wants to come in and say what they want to say. I don't want to just brush them off as, let me go about my day. I've got other things that need to do. It's like, no. I hope to be an elderly person someday, and I hope to be considered, so I want to reciprocate now while I can and give them the proper respect.
Don't you worry your little head, okay?
A nice elderly woman here trying to watch out for everybody. After saying goodbye to the old couple, I decided to leave the bookstore. Okay, well, a nice little reopening. Actually, I kind of thought that was how we were going to be spending our time. Typically in events like that is how we spend our time. Played a little bit here. Let's update our save. Well, that kind of changes my plan a little bit. I was going to spend time with the elderly couple, and I assumed that was what we just did, but apparently not. But for that same reason I tried to go there the first time, I wonder if this was kind of our introduction to them, and maybe there's a little bit more to it now that we've been introduced. I still think, like, for the same reason as I spent time the first time, this is their grand reopening, so maybe we're only going to get one of those. Not that I'm trying to downplay Yuko. I mean, I don't want to say her day's unimportant, but this sounds like a special event for bookworms. Okay, that's what it wants us to do. They did mention the persimmon tree. Let's go. We've got a new goal here. Let's double back to the school and confirm this persimmon tree we have some idea about. How did I never cross the crosswalk here before? I mean, I know this is where we first arrived from the station, but a happy discovery here. Let's check this area out before we go. Taxi driver. I couldn't hack it at my last job since I'm kind of antisocial, so I became a taxi driver. But when my customers try to start a conversation with me, I never know what to say to them. I think it comes with practice. I'm kind of experiencing that with the streaming side of things too, but every single day has been getting easier and more fun, so there's hope for everybody. And I see something shining. I'm getting better at spotting these. Another Twilight fragment. For anybody unaware, these are going to be helpful as we go through Tartarus and unlocking various chests and healing options. Got a lot of people that aren't necessarily looking so good. This might be more that apathy syndrome we'd heard about. It's a vending machine. It's a vending machine. Should I buy something? I'd mentioned the same idea yesterday, but I like how there's different drinks and different vending machines. It's one of those other little details that just makes the world feel like a world. I think I bought Fountain Dew yesterday that, restores SP, and I think for the same reason I did yesterday, we don't have a lot of SP recovery options yet. I might... They only have 2 here, so 220 yen's not bad for some emergency recovery options. Let's take a couple Mad Bull with us. A mildly bitter beverage with a flavorful kick. And also Cielo Mist and Sobe. We've got other options to restore HP, especially since it's only 10 HP. We've got a precocious girl here. I have a new teacher, and he's, we're already a little into the first term, but it still feels weird to be in the room with him. Why? Yeah, that was my first thought on that. It's like he doesn't talk at all, even during lunchtime. I'm a 6th grader. I'll be moving on next year, and I'm stuck with a teacher like this. Alright. Well, she wants to get to know the teacher better. Let's go elsewhere. That's right. We got distracted finding this area, but we're headed back to the school to see about this persimmon tree. Yep, as we do, let's just start at the gates. No sense rushing into anything. Although I guess we start at the gates, at the door, not the gates. But let's head inside. We'll be a pro at navigating this school before long. Try not to phase through too many people along the way. So this is the corridor. And this young tree sure seems to fit the bill of what they were talking about. A small tree is growing here. Could this be the persimmon tree the old couple at the bookstore was talking? The old couple we're talking about? There's a fallen leaf under the tree. I obtained a persimmon leaf. Maybe I should show the leaf to the old couple at the bookstore. I like it. This kind of feels like a fun, kind of episode that's evolved around us here now. We met the couple, we learned about this tree, we confirmed more about the tree that we'd seen before. So let's take the leaf back to the old couple. As we zigzag our way back out of school here. Being the only student jogging down the hallway. Kind of a part of me that thinks I should be walking. I mean, I definitely would be walking if this was a real location, but it's a little bit harder to, force myself to stroll at this leisurely pace as I walk. Not that I couldn't do it, but let's go back to the station strip mall and show them the leaf we found. the used bookstore bookworms. Since I have a persimmon leaf, I might have more to talk about with the elderly couple. Should I show the persimmon leaf? Yes, let's do it. That's why we went to get it after all.
Welcome to Bookworms.
Nice to be here.
How many guests? Smoking or non-smoking?
I like this guy.
That leaf that's in your hand. Oh, do you mean to tell me this is a leaf from that persimmon tree?
I believe it is.
It must have grown quite a bit to produce such splendid leaves. Oh, wait, so you aren't here to buy books? Did you come visit just to show this to us?
Actually, fully admittedly, I had kind of forgotten this was a bookstore, and my reason to come was actually to just show him the persimmon leaf. So actually, that's right. I did just come to show him the persimmon leaf. Not that I'm against buying books, but I'm going to be honest here.
I knew it. I knew right from the start that you were a kind young man.
Thank you for saying so.
I've been meaning to go see that tree for a while now, but I'm not sure if these stumpy old legs will make it that far. That wasn't meant to be a pun. You know, stumpy. Tree stump. Get it?
It did cross my mind.
Yes, yes. You're very clever, dear.
Let me introduce my wife, Mitsuko. I'm Bunkichi.
All right. Now we've got names for the faces. We've got Mitsuko and Bunkichi.
If you don't mind, would you tell us your name?
Of course. I'm Tamshima.
Yes, a good name. As good as mine.
That sounds like high praise. They seem to have taken a liking to me after talking about the persimmon tree. I become acquainted with Bunkichi-san and Mitsuko-san, the elderly couple.
I am thou. Thou art I. Thou hast established a new bond. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Hierophant Arcana.
All right, with that, we have established a new bond. That is rank 1 of the Hierophant with the elderly couple. Just like I've been saying, it's cool that we're going to have a bit more power, but it's cool to make that deeper connection to the world around us, too.
We're open every day except Monday.
They are quite the busy couple. Every day except Monday.
Come visit us whenever you're free.
I parted with the elderly couple and went back to the dorm. I think that was a fun way to spend our after-school time.
I see you're back.
Oh, you're back. Seems like you've been doing a good job exploring Tartarus. Just remember, you're the only ones who'd be able to do anything if something happened. Until I finish recovering, I'll be counting on you. I like having that trust of the team, and also the knowledge of the, I don't want to say expectation, but, the responsibility that comes with that trust. It's like, I'm trusting you, but you're responsible until I can help out. I like it. Looks like he's eating something good here. I'm not sure I ever really appreciated that he's eating left-handed, which I kind of wonder if, Akihiko is left-handed or if he's, still recovering his right arm there. But a little fun factoid, I'm left-handed, so I was kind of, keying on that when I see it in game. I appreciate that little detail when I see it. They say it still will be some time before my injuries fully heal. Well, I hope I can get back to fighting sooner rather than later. Guess we'll see. That's true, yeah, he's, eating off of the couch here. He's got that whole table he could be eating at, but I don't know, something about, sitting back on that couch looks a little more comfy than these chairs, maybe. Totally focused on that meal, too. I mean, he doesn't have the TV on. It's just, he does kind of seem like that, I don't want to say one-track mind, but he seems to focus on what he focuses on, from what little we've interacted with him so far. As it is, I also just noticed we've got more mails. Let's see what's going on for our messages. it's Mitsuru. For your information, I'll be in the command room today. If you want to go to Tartarus, come let me know. I'll be able to join you as well. I appreciate that update. Maybe we'll stop up there and see. I don't know that we're necessarily going to consider Tartarus tonight since we made it to a good point, but I don't want to rule anything out until we know what we can do. I always like to check the TV as well. Let's see what's on TV. With many people choosing to go overseas for the long vacation. It's a popular vacation choice this year, it seems. Airports are filled with travelers. According to a survey, the most popular destination is once again Hawaii. Boy, that would be something. I'm personally not much for travel, but I get the appeal as well. Oh, seems like everybody's off doing their own thing. Let's see what Yukari has to say. Kirijo-senpai should be in the command room. She said she was going to do some training. Oh, but she also said we could still go to Tartarus tonight if you want to. Junpei's got his own meal up here. That looks pretty good. That looks really good. I'm gonna be that guy and talk to him while he's got a mouthful.
By the way,
Did you hear? The used bookstore at the Iwatodai Strip Mall just reopened. Usually you can find the rarest of rare manga buried somewhere in those kinds of shops. Maybe I should go check it out. I'm actually pretty good at digging up treasure.
Jeez.
Go for it, but try not to clown around there too much, alright? Kind of like the fact that we chose to go to the bookstore and have it, further connected here back at the dorm in the evening. Before I go any further, too, I want to drop my bag back off at the room. I know it doesn't do a whole lot, but there's just that other extra level of detail that I like. We put our stuff away from school, we lugged it around all day. Now we can just keep going about our afternoon, evening, end of the day business. I think I want to go upstairs to the command room, just check in on Mitsuru. Also gives us kind of an excuse to walk through the dorm again. It's been a while since we've come up this way. There's the command room, but maybe, hey. Distracted again, something shining. Something at the bottom of the lamp. It's a twilight fragment. We'll check out up here and just, say we've seen the entirety of the dorm today. We went all the way to the top. There's still that notice on the door. Do not open. If open, close it. Got some... It's the men's room. You know what? This is a real world. He's been busy all day. I can feel my mind starting to wander as I wash my hands. I don't think there's anything in particular that needs my attention right now. Boy, that would be a great feeling to end the week with. It's like, okay, I've made it through the week. I've got nothing pressing. Basically, the world is at my fingertips, and I'm free to make my choices. Oh, a nice set of big doors here. This might be our first time visiting the command room outside of cutscenes, so I want to talk to Mitsuru, but there might be some other things to look around at here, maybe. Is something the matter? Just wanted to chat. Detection ability is crucial for exploring Tartarus efficiently. I've been training my own such ability, but it will take more work still before I'm fully competent. I love how by the book she's taking all this, how professionally she said that, but also how seriously she's taking getting better at what she's doing. It's encouraging because she's navigating for us that she's putting that care and training into things because she's such a vital member of the team. And it also kind of keeps me wanting to rise up to meet those expectations. And she's bettering herself. I want to better myself as well and be a valid contributor to the team. We've got a bookshelf here. There are many files labeled Shadow Appearance Dates. They are stamped with Do Not Remove labels. Sounds very official. Yes, I did miss the big command console over there, but it seems like the kind of thing that's the center point of the room, so it'll be easy to get back to that. We've got a storage room. Or I guess somehow I know it's a storage room despite it being tightly sealed. Okay, I wonder if it's a storage room. I should have read ahead. I just saw the caption here, storage room, and figured, how do I know this is a storage room? I've never been in that room before. It could be anything back there, but it's nice to just see that he does have that assumption that it's a storage room. Interior decoration shelf. There are all kinds of decorations on the shelf. On either side are pictures of a woman and a stern-looking man. I wonder who they are. This whole thing is the interior decoration shelf. Yeah, I like the variety of things we've got here. The plates, the pictures, the different vases and plants. Little things, again, that just go into making it feel like a room. You've got this little step ladder here that, yeah, those are high shelves. It's nice to just see things like that accounted for. I think at one point when we were going through the lobby, I'd also kind of mentioned seeing that the lamps have cords and that things are actually plugged in. And it's always been one of those fun things in games that I like to see, that subtle attention to detail that you don't even necessarily consciously pick up on until you're looking for it. But then when you see it there, it's like they took the time and care to make this a real place, not just a set. If somebody needs something off a high shelf and this wasn't here, we would just assume that, they'd interact with the shelf and they'd get what they want. But I could see this being slid into place, and the right book up there, one of those green books. They could just climb up a couple steps and reach up safely and easily and come back down with it. Stuff like that. I like it. Seems similar to the other bookshelf. Many files labeled Shadow Appearance Dates. Also stamped with Do Not Remove labels. And yes, that console deck. It's a bank of consoles. I don't know how to use it. It seems very advanced. Yes, that's a nice way of saying, don't touch. I'd be the first one to be as curious about that too. I'd be getting as close as I can, but I appreciate that my character has the wherewithal to know that he doesn't know what this means, and that obviously, look but don't touch. But there's that technology lover side to me that would be right there. It's like, ooh, I wonder what this does, or what does that do? I bet this does that, and this does that. The wheels would be turning for sure. So it was nice to see this room a little bit more detailed than just as a backdrop for a cutscene. And I guess I checked my messages earlier, but we didn't check the overall decision tree here. About a quarter of the people went back to Tartarus again. The daily life side of things, it was kind of fun to check things out yesterday, and there was that mention that different shops have different things going on, and the arcade has different games every day. Seeing that a lot of people went out and did stuff like that, I am kind of motivated to try the same. It was fun, prioritizing a bit of courage yesterday, having the thought of wanting to get into that cafe at some point, so maybe we'll see what sort of options are out there for us. The arcade was a fun diversion yesterday. I like arcades, like I said then, so we might end up back there again today, depending on what's available. I guess if I do end up there, maybe I'll start at the Iwatodai Station Strip Mall first and just work our way across town. Go out on a Saturday night and see what's going on here. How is Wild Duck Burger doing at this hour? Looks crowded from the door. Guess they don't advertise anything special for the weekend here, but there's Bookworms. We spent our afternoon there. It was kind of cool to end up back here at a different time of day and see how different things are. This is Wakatsu Kitchen. They had the omega-3s and the fish dishes that would potentially improve our academics. Got the Hagakure ramen, which is too crowded right now. This was the sweet shop that's, I assume, still closed. It was closed at this hour yesterday. They've already closed. This was a members-only place that we needed a membership to order takeout. That's what it was, and they had partnered with the Net Cafe down here to buy a piece of software that has membership. But since we don't have a computer yet, there wasn't really much of a point in that. It's a vending machine. We bought those Fountain Dews yesterday, and they haven't been restocked yet. But that's another little detail I kind of like. It's not like this is a magic vending machine that's going to be restocked every day. I mean, somebody actually has to come up here with the beverages and actually restock them. So that didn't happen. Something we haven't checked at night since we first got here, since I kind of just discovered it today, is the station side of things at night. So let's just take a little bit of a look. Saw another cat dart into the bikes there. I like the little cat presence around. Also seeing sites like construction sites. That's another bit of realism here. And, you see that in places, and they don't go out of their way to hide it. I mean, not that you can really hide construction, but these things do happen in real settings, and seeing them in the game here makes this feel, again, more like a real setting. It's dark inside the manhole. I wonder if they're doing some kind of underground construction. That seems like a reasonable assessment based on what I'm seeing here. Not a whole lot going on here, but nice to see it at a different time of day. Double over to the mall here and see how that's looking. Yeah, the construction's got to progress eventually, right? It always seems like it takes forever, though. I'm sure we're still not... I mean, I know we're not any more courageous than we were yesterday, but this is the club we've been trying to get into ever since we thought about it yesterday. I can sense an air of maturity through the slightly ajar door, but still can't bring myself to enter. I need to be a bit more ordinary. I'm still timid at this point, but we'll get there. It was Monday for sales with Officer Kurosawa, and we're not really in need of anything from him. Although, for the same reason I stopped to visit Igor and Elizabeth, let's just stop in and say hi.
You made it.
Don't worry, I won't ask what you want any of this for. I just do what I think is right. One thing that other games have kind of touched on, that I don't want to get into any spoilers on anything there, but has crossed my mind ever since playing different games that have talked about this, is we're at a crowded mall right now, and Officer Kurosawa here sells, footwear and armor, but weapons.
What'll it be?
I mean, seeing how big Junpei's bastard sword was when we were in Tartarus, I mean, that was about as tall as he was. It always just kind of struck me as odd in the wondering of how we got these things back to the dorm with us. I mean, I'm not sure if, maybe we assume that Officer Kurosawa has these things delivered to us, and I'm not actually just shopping from a display of weapons and armor here. Maybe that's how this works, but it's always just kind of crossed my mind when I buy things from the officer here. It's like, how do we get these things back to us? I mean, if I walked out with a sword as tall as I am, I'm pretty sure that would turn some heads, and probably not for the right reasons, so...
All done here?
The things I think about that may or may not have bearing on things. It was good to visit Officer Kurosawa and just kind of check in. I do see him as part of the team because he's on the same side we are. That's true, yes. That inventory idea. I've always kind of just thought about that too. We've got some magic bag of holding idea of, oh yeah, that's just in our inventory now, so no one can see it. Although, based on that logic, I mean, I'm carrying any number of things presumably on my person right now. I've got 12 life stones, some medicine, some cure water, at least 4 cans of soda. So yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if I analyze too deeply on what I'm carrying, some of it falls apart. I've got a Jack Frost doll, some cat food, and that's just the consumables. I've got skill cards, gems, keys, leaves, documents. So okay, yes, that inventory idea. Maybe it's smarter to just leave it at that. Interlude here since it's been a while since I've updated our save. Let's see what's going on at Game Parade today. They've mentioned that the games change every day, so we'll see what's out there. We've got You're the Answer, which helps our academics. We've got Edgar's House of Fortunes, which helps our currently equipped persona's magic. I like academics, but if I were to do that, I might head over to the fish place, whose name I'm blanking on right now since it's not right in front of me. I was really looking to focus on courage. Actually, there was another option up there, the karaoke place, Mandragora. Maybe we do that. I believe the Hagakure Beef Bowl place, I think that was also courage, but they said they were too crowded tonight, right? Mandragora. Let me just double check before we think about that. I think it's courage here because they talked about belting out songs by yourself helps with courage, and we might have kind of talked about how I wondered if that was actually courageous if there weren't consequences. But a karaoke solo, 800 yen, helped with courage. That could be how we do things. Looks like I'm not sure if the other people's choices is in order of choice or if just these are just the things that happen, but. There was also the cafe. I think that was more for our personality, which at this point in the game, we need to work on all these things. So I'm not really necessarily like, oh, I don't need to do that because I'm a plain timid slacker, if I remember right. So I've got everything that needs improving. But I also do kind of need some direction and priority. Also didn't touch on it, but everyone's advanced a little bit further in Tartarus. Average level's up to 10 now for everybody, and they've made it up to floor 19 on average. So we're still barely ahead. I think we made it to the barrier floor at 21 or 22, and our level's 11, so we're still keeping pace with everybody. That will be something I kind of watch as we go forward, though. And that's something else I kind of want to, that I like about our stats for our social things here. It's like, it doesn't tell us how close we are in any of these. I can't game the system of like, okay, I need 6 more charm experience points to stop being plain. Or it's like, I do these things until I'm not timid anymore. I keep raising my courage, and eventually just by doing that, I will become less timid. I can't say, okay, 3 more trips here and I'll be less timid. I'll be whatever the next level beyond timid is, or I'll stop being a slacker if I go to the library 2 more times. It forces me to make the decisions without, I guess, having knowledge I shouldn't have. Just like in real life, I don't know how many times I would have to do something to stop being timid with it. It just kind of comes naturally as you do the thing more often. So, another little thing about the game that I like how they decided to handle it. I did see some people, they did use the arcade for the academics, but I believe that was, 3,000 yen? I mean, not that we can't afford it, but the thought of focusing a little bit more on courage here at a cost of less than 1,000 yen does seem more financially responsible if it doesn't necessarily do as much for a pure stat game. But I've also kind of referenced before that I'm not playing this as a walkthrough or a guide or anything terribly optimized. I also want to do something that my character might find fun. Going home to study would be a responsible thing to do, but at the end of the week after school, I don't know if that would be my first priority if I were in his shoes. So I don't really want to say, okay, you go home and study because I want to work on academics. I mean, if anything, I'd probably go get that fish dinner and enjoy a good meal while working on my academics. But I do want to end up being able to get into that club at some point, which is going to take more courage, and that is an immediate, goal of ours. Or I guess it's a long-term goal, but it's an immediate thing that we can work on. So I think, rather than dithering too much on this, we're standing here at the karaoke place. It sounds like, obviously our character likes music. He's always got a music player on, and he's got earbuds, so he likes music. Maybe he likes, or is interested. He knows music, I guess, but we'll say that much. Maybe he wants to try some karaoke on it. So I'm going to save it here if this ends our day, just in case, so that next time I load, I don't have to go through an entire day's worth of time. But I'll stop standing in their door for a second again. But for the same reason I'd said before, we're at a good point on Tartarus, so we don't really need to prioritize heading there for tonight. So we can kind of look at some of these other social skill developing aspects of the world. And as we feel, if we end up feeling behind the pace of everybody, there'll be time to build in more times in Tartarus to catch up or level up or just get where we want to be. But it's the start of the weekend, and I want to do something fun for our character here, and something I think he would do. So let's go into Mandragora, spend the night here, singing some karaoke to ourselves. Sing proudly, not caring what other people think. Raises courage. Looks like a nice little, venue here. I mean, some people might see this as lonely doing it by yourself, but I kind of like the self-bettering idea of going to a place like this and not necessarily being on the spot in front of other people. I can kind of do stuff like that at my own pace and, make those mistakes or experience things, before trying to be a professional with it. There's something also to be encouraged by other people and say, it's like, oh, yeah, you did good. And, to hear that and have that reinforcement. But there's a lot to be said for preparing yourself before putting yourself out there. So I was shown to a spacious room where I could enjoy solo karaoke to the fullest. Looks like, I've got my music, I've got a drink, got it all going on there. The waiter came into the room, but I continued to sing wholeheartedly. Well, there you go, he had an audience. I feel like my courage has gone up from not caring what other people think. That is a skill I was going to say I wish I had, but I also do want to care what people think. I don't want to just be that, I don't care what they think, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, because that's never been who I am and never who I really want to be. But there are times I wish I was less in my own head about stuff and could work on my courage like that. And I'm sure that will come at some point. I'm never going to stop trying to better myself. So just like our hero here, we can all get better if we put our mind to it. It's a little bit more courage. We're still timid, but maybe a little less so. Every step forward is a step forward. that was the evening there, and a day change. So, let's go back to the desk and talk about it. So, here we are again. I had some fun today. It was kind of nice again for the same reasons as it was yesterday, of seeing more of the world and not focusing on combat, as our primary concern. It was still that secondary thought in my head of, we're getting stronger and, learning things, developing things that can be applied to that aspect of things, but I still want to connect more to the world and the people in it and find more of our place in it. Yeah, it's another social day. You gotta have those at times. It's nice in the early part of the game too to be making these new connections and just seeing more and more choices open to us, which is going to kind of, potentially become overwhelming when we're faced with, 12 choices and you can only make one, but that's something else that's hopefully going to be fun about this playthrough, and that we're going to be making choices that will differentiate us from everybody else that's out there doing the same thing we are. It'll become less of a story that everyone knows and more of a personalized story to this playthrough that I'm trying to present to all of us. Yeah, it was a social day. It was fun. We started out at school. We ended our school week. It was always fun to get to that point in real life. I'm sure my character was thinking the same thing as he got out of class for the day and I had the world open to him, had his free time all ahead of him. At one point, we'd heard that he doesn't have any specific pressing concerns, so that was just all the more encouraging. We toured around a little bit, checked out our options, considered, hanging out with Yuko. We had that opening at the library, or at the bookstore that we wanted to check out, so ultimately we ended up going that way after checking out some other, places and just taking that stroll after school to unwind and see the world again. We got to meet the old couple, Mitsuo and Bunkichi. But it was nice to stop in and see them and kind of have that kind of impromptu quest almost to go back to the school and find that tree they were talking about. And then we found that persimmon leaf. We'd seen the tree in passing before too, so it wasn't like this was some newly unlocked area that's like, go here now and you can do this. It's like we've seen that tree multiple times and walked by it, and now we know that there's even more meaning to it, which is just like stuff in the real world you'll see. It's like everything out there has meaning and significance to someone, and whether or not you know that now, if you find out later, it just adds a whole different perspective on it, and I like that side of things. But we took that leaf back to it and showed it to the couple, and they seemed to really appreciate it. They seemed to have some ties to that tree in some capacity, and Bunkichi was saying it's hard for him to get out and around now, so he wasn't able to get up to the school and see it, but he was encouraged to see it was doing well, and he appreciated us taking the time to actually come back and show him, so it was kind of fun to be appreciated in that regard, and that led to developing a new social link with the couple there and the Hierophant Arcana. So it's that mutual growth as well. They were happy to interact with us, and in so doing, we also, benefited. It's, I don't want to say give and take. I don't want to see these interactions as transactional either. I don't want to say like, well, we have to spend time with them because it'll do this for us, because that's kind of a sad way to look at interactions at times, I think. But it was rewarding to have their appreciation for something we did and to make a meaningful impact on their day and to spend time with their bookstore, grand reopening. That was another reason we ended up going that way today, because I reasoned that, grand reopenings only happen once. Tomorrow's the second day, and that's just not quite the same, even though it's, back to some reality. It was nice to stop there, though, and spend our afternoon, making their day a little bit better and seeing another new thing in the world. We got back to the dorm, got to talk to Akihiko in the lobby as he was enjoying his dinner. We saw Yukari and Junpei up on the second floor kind of doing the same. Got to talk to Mitsuru up in the command room and see that room for the first time in a little more detail and appreciate what was up there. And then it was just another stroll, another fun use of our time. It was a social day, like we'd been saying. We went back to the various malls to see people out doing things, to see what games and foods and businesses were at our disposal. First time in our playthrough that we've stopped at Mandragora and did a bit of singing, because we're still trying to work on our courage a little bit. That's more of a shorter term goal, to try to get into that club, just to see what's in there, feel that curiosity and see new things. But it was also fun to more or less be forced into it, not forced, but given a different direction. It was fun spending time at the arcade yesterday, but it's also nice to not just be able to, go there every night and say, okay, I want to play this game to work on my courage. It's like, if I want to work on courage, there's not a game there for that today. I've got to go do something else. So let's go to a different business. Let's see what other options are out there for us. And it just gives us another excuse to see different parts of the world and be a more broadly well-rounded person. And I like seeing the world. It makes it feel more of a world. I'm going from this point to that point because that's efficient, and then, point C after that, and, choice 2 is the right choice. There's nothing necessarily wrong with playing it that way, if that's how you want to do it, but I kind of just want this series to flow naturally as it comes and talk out my reasoning for why we're doing things. And I'm enjoying it so far. I hope you all are too. But I guess on all those notes, that is how we spent our day today. I think it was a fun Saturday. We're moving into Sunday. Again, it feels like it was another quick week, considering all we did, but we're moving through our weekend. I'm excited to see where we go tomorrow. It's been a couple social days. We haven't done Tartarus in a couple days. And there's also, we're still early enough in the game that new things are opening up to us. New people are making connections to us or being suggested to us. So I like not having that plan going into the day and seeing where the world is opening to us, because it kind of does force us to decide in the moment of, what do I do? I can't just, read a guide and say, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I mean, I could do that, but I'm choosing not to do that, and I'm enjoying choosing not to do that so far. So we can all kind of just think about at the end of Saturday, what will tomorrow bring? And hopefully that's fun. For everybody watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, it will be the same time tomorrow for the stream, the same YouTube upload cycle. So if anybody wants to catch up on anything they haven't seen yet, or refresh something that happened in the past and put it into a new context with today, that's going to continue to be an option. Yeah, on all that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever fun you can get up to, whether it's working on courage or eating some good food or just spending time with whatever your real-life social links are. I hope the day is exactly what you want it to be. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow as well. I've been Tom Shima, as I am. We're going to continue Persona a day tomorrow with Sunday, but I had a really good day on Saturday today with all of you, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Take care. With that, we've reached the end of the day. Please look forward to next time to see where the game goes from here. This journey is being streamed live on my Twitch channel if you'd like to be there in person for the experience. Links and schedule details can be found in the description. I'll keep uploading each day's session to this channel so you can keep watching here. Once again, I'm Tom Shima. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you again as I continue the series, Persona a Day. What will tomorrow bring?